Hello, and thank you for joining ClickData's webinar on getting the most out of your WooCommerce data. And on behalf of everyone at ClickData, thank you for your time today. I'm your host, Rob Wood, and I'll be followed by Shri Neve. Shri is in charge of our professional services and customer-facing support. I want to make sure everybody can understand and hear us. If there's ever a time where you feel the audio isn't as best as it could be, or you'd like us to slow down, feel free to notice the chat box in the bottom right of your screen. You can also ask questions and make sure you get anything answered that you would like. We will be recording this webinar, and we will be sending this out to you, and you can forward that to your peers or anybody else you would like. A few things about ClickData. We are the world's first 100% cloud-based BI solution. This becomes important when you can understand the power that having the data warehouse with all the visualization tools you need at your fingertips become easily accessible through any operating system and on any device anywhere. We're just over 10 years old. We have offices in the United States, Canada, France, as well as strategic partners located in the Middle East, Australia, and Latin America. Currently, ClickData is publishing over 100 dashboards an hour and managing over 1 million KPIs. 94% of our customers would recommend us to either their peers or their friends. ClickData views the world in 4 steps when it comes to business intelligence and data visualization. You were able to connect to any data from any source, anywhere, prepare that data within your own data warehouse. We provide tools like cleansing and all sorts of data management tools. You're able to merge and do some other complicated things that Shri will get into. More importantly, you're able to visualize that data, tell your data story, and then you're able to share that with whomever you'd like, either securely or insecure, with any other possible way you can. On today's agenda, you're going to learn how to connect your current WooCommerce data, how to connect other data like QuickBooks or Google Analytics, learn how to leverage that all together to create a seamless report, which will allow it now able to automate and create things like profit and loss statements, product specific details, financials by product like gross and net profit, and total cost of goods. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Shri Neve.
Thank you, Rob. Hello, everyone. As Rob mentioned earlier as well, if anyone has any issues with the audio, or if anyone has any issues with the screen, feel free to just type on the chat box, and Kiran is moderating the chat from our team, and he'll get back to you. Going back to the BI in 4 steps, Rob mentioned really what ClickData does is connects to a data set, transforms the data if required, creates dashboard, and ultimately allows you to collaborate. We'll be going through that journey today using WooCommerce. What I've done is I've created a dashboard based on WooCommerce data, and the goal of the webinar is to end up creating a similar dashboard and guide you through the process on how you can utilize WooCommerce data, connect it to ClickData, not just WooCommerce, if you're also using financial systems like QuickBooks, or if you're using marketing analytics system like Google Analytics. How can you combine them all together into one place and create a dashboard to track your e-commerce website? If you haven't signed up for ClickData yet, go to clickdata.com/sign up and get yourself a free trial. For those who have signed up, once you log into ClickData, this is the home screen you reach. The application itself is also divided very similar to the 4 steps that Rob mentioned: connecting data, transforming, creating dashboard, and automation. So the first step in connecting to WooCommerce is getting your data connected to your ClickData account. To do so, click on the Data tab. Once you click on the Data tab, click on Add New. And once you click on Add New Connection for the first time. You will see a list of different applications that we connect to. As I mentioned earlier, that if you want to connect to QuickBooks along with WooCommerce, if you need to connect to an Excel sheet that gives your shipping data along with WooCommerce, you can also connect to a variety of different applications. To connect to WooCommerce, just go ahead and look for WooCommerce. Click on the WooCommerce icon. And once you click on the WooCommerce icon, you can now connect to that particular WooCommerce. You would need some consumer key and consumer secret. To get that, you have to log in to your WordPress site, which manages your WooCommerce. So I already have logged into my WordPress site. Once I log into the WordPress site, you click on WooCommerce and Settings. On your settings, you click on Advanced Settings. Once you click on Advanced Setting, click on the REST API. The first time when you're doing this setup, you would have to create a new key. To create a new key, just click on Add Key. Start by giving a name to the application that you're creating. So I'm going to call this as Click Data Connection. You select a user that needs to be connected, the permission level that you need to set. Click Data only needs read-only access, so you can leave it at default as read-only. Click on Generate API Key. And once you click on Generate API Key, a consumer key and consumer secret would be populated for you. Copy the consumer key, go back to Click Data, and paste the consumer key in the section of consumer key. Again, similar process, get the consumer secret, go back to Click Data, set up the consumer secret. You also need a site URL. So that would be the site where your WooCommerce is hosted. Go ahead and copy that particular site URL and paste that as well. Once you have these site URL and key and secret set up, click on Test Connection to verify the connection. Start by giving a name to your connection. I'm going to call it as my WooCommerce Click Shop. And then click Next to set up the initial connection. Once you click Next, you'll be presented with the different data tables that you can pull from WooCommerce. You can connect to coupons, you can connect to customers, you can connect to orders, refunds, products. Most likely, you'll be if you're tracking sales information, orders would be the right table to go ahead and connect to. If you're trying to understand your customers, which state are my customers coming in from, how many purchases have they done, go ahead and connect to the customers table. If you would like to create a sales report, you can also connect to the sales report table. And if you need to get more information about your products, you connect to the products table. Today, we are going to connect to the orders table and see how we can create a dashboard displaying the order count, probably the revenue generated from that particular order. And also, we'll go in depth in terms of analyzing the shipping cost for each order and trying to figure out what is the profit that is generated from each order. Once I select the orders table, I click on Next. I start off by defining a name to the table. This is my orders coming in from ClickShop, so I start by giving a name to it. I select a date range. I would like to get the entire lifetime, so I leave it to lifetime. I click on Preview to get a quick snapshot of what my data looks like. On the data table, you would see different fields such as total, discount total, date when the order was created, the status of the order. You also have additional fields such as the product name, the quantity that was ordered, the product total, subtotal. As you might notice that we are missing shipping data and we are missing the cost of each product. So we'll try to go through the second step that Rob mentioned. After connecting your data, you can transform your data. We'll try to see how we can incorporate the shipping data into this. You click on Next, and that particular table gets imported to Click Data. At this stage, you can also set up a daily automation or every hour automation. And if you need to refresh it frequently, more than once every hour, then you can also go back to the automation tab, click on Schedule, and you can go up to every minute. So in case you need to track every minute what is happening with your website, go ahead and set up an automation for every minute. Once you have the table connected to Click Data, You can import the shipping data. I've already done that. So I'm going to go back and show you what my shipping data looks like. I have a shipping cost for each billing state. It was on my Excel, but it could come in from DHL API. It could even come in from FedEx. Whichever shipping provider you use, you can connect directly to that particular shipping provider and get the shipping cost data. Along with the shipping cost, I also wanted to get what was my actual cost to acquire a product. So I also have a table showcasing the cost to get that particular product. Eventually, I'm going to use this to calculate my profit. Now that I have all these tables connected, I would like to combine them together to get a single view. So my orders and my shipping cost and my product cost are into a single table itself. To do so, I click on the small arrow next to Add New, click on Merge Data. You start by giving a name to your data set. This is my WooCommerce data. So just going to call it as WooCommerce dataset. Click Create, and you're presenting it with a screen that allows you to drag and drop different data sets and combine them, almost like creating a join on Access if you're familiar with that, or creating a join on a database if you're familiar with working with queries. I select the tables that I would like to join. I drag and drop my products table, my orders table, my product cost table, and my shipping cost table. Once I have all that information, I need to create a relationship between these tables. I know that my product ID comes from my orders table. I select the product ID and I link it with my products table. Further, I know that the product cost contains an ID which is equal to the product ID. I create a link between them. Additionally, I also know that my shipping cost contains a billing state. My orders also contain a billing state. So I'm going to create a link between my billing states. Once I have that connected, I can start by selecting which columns would I like to have from the individual tables. So I like to get everything from the orders table. So I select all the columns out there. I would like to get my cost from the product cost table. And I would like to get my shipping cost from the shipping cost table. Once I have selected those columns, you would notice that you have additional columns such as the shipping cost, the cost that I've selected from different tables. I click on Save and a new data set is generated for me that I can start using to create my dashboard. At this stage, you could just go right into the dashboard and start creating it, but I need to do additional analysis on my revenue and my profit. In my case, my revenue is considered to be my shipping cost plus my product total, and my profit is that revenue minus the cost to acquire the product. So I'm going to create two additional transformation and show you how you can do so. To create the transformation, you select the data set, you click on Actions, Create View. Start by giving a name to your data set. So that's my orders table, finance. I click Create. And again, I'm presented with a UI with different options such as calculated column, aggregation, filters. In this case, I just need to create two calculated columns. So I drag and drop my calculated column, and I specify that the first one that I need to create is my revenue. My revenue is my product total plus my shipping cost. Click on Preview to have a quick look of how the data looks like. Click Save to have your first calculated column ready on that particular data set. Additionally, I also need my profit, which is my revenue minus my cost. I create a new calculated column. I specify this as cost, select my revenue, subtract it with my cost. Now I have a new column, which is my profit, and I can use this profit column on my dashboard. Once I'm happy with the columns that I need, my data set the way I need them, I can now go ahead and do the third step about creating a dashboard. To create a dashboard, you click on the Dashboard tab. Once you click on the Dashboard tab, you click on Add New to get started. And you start by defining a name to your dashboard, selecting a size and a layout, and a color scheme of your choice. I've already created a color scheme of my choice and selected a dashboard theme and size. So I'm going to go switch over to that particular dashboard and show you how we can start building up a few different KPIs on this dashboard. The first one I would like to visualize is my revenue and profit over time. To do so, I can choose to display it using an area chart. I drag and drop an area chart anywhere on the dashboard, presented with a pop-up that allows me to select a data set. I go ahead and I select the data set that I've just created. And on this data set, I have different columns. I have my date created, when the order was created. I have my revenue, which I just calculated, my cost, and my profit. Since I want to compare my revenue and my profit, over time, I drag and drop date created into categories. That represents my horizontal axis and gives me a time period. I search for revenue, drag and drop the revenue into values. So I'm displaying my revenue over time now. And now I search for my profit. I drag and drop the profit into values, and I'm also comparing my revenue along with my profit. I click on save, and I have my first visualization ready on the dashboard. It's as simple as that. You just select the columns that you need, drag and drop to the right section, click save, and you have your first visualization. If I need to create a table, it's the same approach. Drag and drop a table, select the columns I need to display on the table, and I have my table as well. Let's say, along with the trend, I would also like to display my total revenue. I can choose to display that using a number indicator and drag and drop a number indicator on the dashboard. Same approach like the chart. I select my data set. And once I select my data set, since I need to display the revenue, I drag and drop the revenue column into this number indicator. Once I have the revenue column dragged and dropped, I can start formatting this number indicator. I would like to not have any icon for it, maybe have a proper subtitle specifying total revenue. And once I have that, I can click on save and I have my first number indicator ready on the dashboard. Along with revenue, I would also like to display my order count or my total profit. Since I already have those columns generated, I can continue using the same visualization and just create a duplicate of it. So I click on duplicate and I have a second number indicator created. And on the second number indicator, instead of displaying revenue, I would like to display my profit. So I can just simply change my values and select profit in this case. So on, I can keep creating additional number indicators and I can have my dashboard ready. Once you have your dashboard ready, you can just another thing to the dashboard, you can also start creating dynamic elements like what I have, creating a date range picker so that I select a date range of my choice and my charts change accordingly, or even selecting products of my choice and my chart changes accordingly. Once I have a dashboard ready, I can start collaborating the dashboard that I've done with others, or I can just use it to come back and keep a track of how my e-commerce site is performing. To do so, you create a live link for your dashboard, enable the live link, copy your live link, and you can access it through any browser, either through your phone, through your laptop, and you have direct access to the dashboard. Your dashboard is not limited to one page. In case you're displaying your sales summary, your financial summary, your product summary, and your location summary, you can start combining these reports together. I've already created an example which does that. So I have my sales summary displaying my total orders, total revenue, giving me a very quick snapshot of how my e-commerce site is doing. I can also go ahead and select a date range of my choice, and my data changes based on the date range that I'm picking. And I can also navigate from my sales summary to my product summary. I would like to see how my product is doing, which is the best selling product for my organization, or how many orders were canceled, how many orders were completed, how is each individual product doing, or a combination of all the products doing. Further, I can also create a financial summary. I have created a financial summary dashboard, which gives me some information such as inventory turnover, average days to sell. You could either have that information on WooCommerce, but sometimes you don't have everything that you need, such as the accounts receivable and payable on WooCommerce. You might have it on your financial system. Could be Stripe, could be QuickBooks, could be Xero. ClickData also connects to them to get that information onto ClickData so that you can display everything together. And additionally, if you need to display location information, you can also access a location map, and you can display how your sales is doing in different regions. So I can see how my revenue is. Texas seems to be doing great for revenue. Is Texas doing great for shipping costs? It seems the highest shipping costs are in New York. And again, I have profits, order quantity. I can change the date range, and based on that, my dashboard changes accordingly. So here's a quick snapshot of what we do and how we can connect to e-commerce data and create a dashboard so you can track your business on a day-to-day basis and make informed decisions. I'll take any questions at this point. If you have any questions about connecting to e-commerce or any questions related to creating certain KPIs, go ahead and type it on your chat screen. I'll hand it over back to Rob. So Rob can talk a little bit more about Click Data, and we'll take the questions right after that.
Thank you, Shri. While we're waiting for other questions, we did have some questions come across during your presentation, one of which is, can you automate the scheduling of the reports to go out to different different employees?
Yes, we can. That's a great question. And a part of the collaboration is not just looking at those dashboards on demand basis, but also notifying someone proactively to take certain actions and decisions. So we do have an entire section on automation. If you go to Click Data, you click on the automation tab, you have schedules. You can create new schedules. You could say, I want to send a report every day at 9 o'clock to all my sales rep. This is my report for sales rep. I click on schedule, decide the time, what time I would like to send it at, maybe at 9 o'clock in the morning when they get into work. And I choose what information needs to be published to them. While publishing an information, you can either publish a dashboard, a binder, something that I have created, which is a set of 4 dashboards. So I'd like to publish all those dashboards to them. I can even send data files. Sometimes it could be necessary to create a transform view on Click Data and send that transform data file to someone else. You can also send an email, not just a dashboard. So along with the dashboard, if you like to have a specific email sent out to someone, you could type a subject and a message, and you can send out that email to someone. Once typing in a message on Click Data, you could say, hello, sales team, and you can start inserting dynamic elements to it from your data set. So you could say, I want to notify someone about the sales today. So let's say sales today were at, and I can insert certain formulas by saying it comes from my data set, from my WooCommerce data set, the orders table, and I want to send in the sum of the sales. So you can start sending actually content from your data set while notifying someone about the performance or just sending the dashboard. Let them also know what the number is today, and they can take certain actions based on that.
Awesome, thank you. One last question we did get was, what if we have multiple WooCommerce accounts? Can we connect multiple accounts into a single dashboard or account?
Absolutely. So that's another great question, and I would like to talk a little bit more about that. You can connect to multiple WooCommerce account anytime you need to connect to a second WooCommerce account. Repeat the process, click on Add New, select WooCommerce again, and go through the steps again. You can also, let's say you're managing, as a consultant, you're managing multiple WooCommerce accounts, and you have created a set of dashboards like what I've done. I've created 4 dashboards for a client called as ClickShop. I have another client, Acme, who wants the exact same dashboards, but with their data set. Do I need to go back and recreate them? You don't need to. All you have to do is once a WooCommerce site is connected, you have created a dashboard. You could say, I want to duplicate this. When you duplicate it, the connection and the data set behind it gets duplicated. Now I can simply change this and saying, instead of ClickShop, this one goes to Acme. I would have a different consumer key and consumer secret and site URL for Acme. I set that up, and I'm connected to Acme as well. My data set is created for Acme. My dashboards at this stage are still my master dashboard, or the ones I created for the first client, which is my WooCommerce ClickShop. What I can do is I can just duplicate this dashboards. I'll say I want to create a duplicate set of the exact same dashboards for the other client. Once I create a duplicate, I could choose to rebind the data, and I can say from WooCommerce ClickShop, instead of connecting to that data set, I would rather want you to connect to Acme's data set, which has the exact same data because it's coming from WooCommerce, has everything else as well. I click select, and now you have changed your data set from Acme, so from ClickShop to Acme without even having to recreate anything. So within just few steps, you can set up and monitor multiple WooCommerce accounts and create dashboards for them. Any other questions, Rob? Okay, it seems like we don't have any other questions. So I'm going to hand it back to Rob to speak a few words about ClickData, or if you want to get started on ClickData, how you can do that. And then we'll also record this webinar and send it over to everyone. Okay. So yeah, it's since we don't have any other questions, thank you all for watching the webinar. If you haven't started an account on ClickData yet, please go ahead to clickdata.com and get started. We have different subscription levels that suits everyone needs. Have a look at them, and we have an entire support team. If you need any assistance in getting started with WooCommerce or any other application, don't hesitate to reach out our support team at support@clickdata.com. If you have any questions about sales, you could also reach out to our sales team at sales@clickdata.com. Thank you everyone for joining today's webinar. Hope you enjoyed it, and we look forward to hearing from you through emails or through support ticket, and we'll send out the webinar to everyone. Thank you.